So how to use mindfulness walks in nature, or let's say nature therapy or forest bathing or Shinrin Yoku, like the Japanese like to call it, in order to heal you from an emotional abusive relationship, or perhaps a relationship or an upbringing where there were things like emotional neglect. I've made other videos about it as well, you can go and check it out. So it dives a little bit further, a bit deeper. But in today's video I just really want to share one technique, one practice that over time, when practiced on a very regular basis, if it becomes like a habit, you can rebuild your internal self. Is to reclaim your personal powers, is to fill your cup, because of course your cup has been terrified. It's dirty, you can't see through it, and we like to cover it up with, let's say, the obsession for status, success, recognition, approval, validation. We want to go and climb a corporate ladder all the way to the top. We want to get the highest degrees as possible. We want to go and build this business no matter what. Before we know it, we even become toxic for ourselves as well. So, as you know, I organize mindfulness walks here in nature, where I like to invite people for some hiking, some meditation, some mindfulness, and then I would like to see if there is like a connection or a need from people to see if they want to continue to work with me further, deeper, with spiritual healing work, going out in nature. So it's like a combination of mindfulness, meditation, transmissions, and energy healing, such as Reiki. And it can even go further into soul retrieval or ancestral healing, which is like a shamanic practice. So yes, if you have been through any kind of abusive, narcissistic relationship, or even through a relationship where there was like neglect, you could of course go after, let's say, normal psychology, psychotherapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, and it's all great, it all has its place. But this could be a supplement, not a complete replacement, because both things are working together. But cognitive behavior therapy, it really focuses much more on the mind. And when you have been through an abusive relationship, what we tend to do is the environment does not feel safe. So what we do is we shut ourselves off from being present. We even like to go out of our body. We look for ways to have an out-of-body experience. And we go really into this survival mode, where our survival brain, our amygdala, goes like in an over-responsive, over-reactive mode, constantly looking out for danger. This hyperactivity is causing, of course, a lot of overthinking and anxiety and stress. But it's also causing is that you are not present, you are not in your physical body. So, of course, you go into the route of cognitive behavior therapy. But once again, I've experienced this myself as well, so I talk from my personal experience. I found this is really much more tailored on the mind, and it's much more focused on what happened in the past. Because cognitive represents memory. So you go into a memory state of what happened when you were younger. And it's good, it's important, it's a very important element of the process. But another very important element of the process is learning to step above the stories you're telling yourself. Is learning to step above the drama you have experienced and you're still experiencing within yourself, the conflict you experience within yourself. Because sometimes I speak to people who have been through this, and they are really hyperactive in the minds. It's even worse than ADD. It's even close to, let's say, post-traumatic stress disorder. once again, it's a story of, you can take a soldier out of a war zone, but how do you take a war out of a soldier? And when you have been in an environment where there was abuse, probably things like violence, aggression, so you constantly feel attacked, maybe physical, maybe non-physical, but you are being attacked. So that's the whole thing. So one practice is to go out here in nature and learn to allow invitations to come into your existence. So what does it mean, allow invitations to come into your existence? Look, we have the ability to heal ourselves. That's just our own mechanism. If we get cut, our body heals our skin. It's the same with our soul, same with our spirit, our minds. It is just like we are standing in our own blind spots. So when you work, let's say, with a mindfulness coach or a healer or therapist, they like to present you an alternative reality, an alternative perception. Because that's the whole idea, we are so attached to this identity we have created for ourselves. So now it's the whole journey, the whole process of see how we can realign ourselves with our true authentic self. And sometimes to integrate that, to get in touch with that, it's learning to step above everything, is to get into this helicopter view. And therefore it's not really so much anymore spinning your wheels with all the thoughts and emotions that are currently going on, but pay your attention to something alternative. So that's the idea of allowing invitations to come into your existence. So an invitation can be, if you're like really slowly moving in a very mindful way, you completely pay attention to what's happening in your surroundings. So you could really pay attention, like how do you take your steps one by one by one? How's the forest floor below you behaving? Perhaps an invitation can be is that the wind is blowing through the trees are moving. I hear a tree making a slight tender noise of the woods is going into another tree. And that's what I mean. That could be an invitation. Does it mean anything? It could mean something for you. And that's really the whole idea, is to pay attention and see what these invitations can mean for you, because it's important is to recognize messages that are right now relevant for our own journey. We all have our own journey. You can check out my last video, which was about this encounter that I had with these peasants, which was quite interesting as well. So within the shamanic traditions, of course, we have these spiritual meanings or symbolism. Like if we come across something in nature, it could be an animal, it could be anything else, it could be a plant, a tree, it could mean is that we need to start to see our reality from a different perspective. And that's really the whole idea. That's the whole idea of allowing invitations to come into your existence. Because once again, you can check out my video which was about emotional neglect. If you're feeling numb and you cannot experience any joy or satisfaction or fulfillment in your life, then what is very important is to develop habits and behaviors that is leading towards more inner peace. That could be, of course, getting out here in the forest, in the nature, in the landscapes. Slow down our thinking, and I've been doing this for years, and I must be honest, I must admit, it took me many years to overcome my own hyperactive minds and the rattling and the overthinking and the anxiety and the overstimulations that I experienced living in the city. So that's really the whole message I wanted to share with you today, that if you have been through any kind of emotional abuse or neglect and you feel this emptiness inside of you and you have this desire, this obsession, like you want to prove your worth for accomplishments, but at the same time you feel like you're like a tree without roots. You want to go up, but it feels like you are not present, you're not rooted, you're not grounded, you are not centered. So with the slightest bit of wind, because what you do is you let everything that's happening outside of yourself, you let it affect you. You don't have an emotional immune system. You can't get anything of, what is that people might think about me? Will they judge me? Will they hate me? Maybe they don't like me. And then you go into this victim mode of pleasing, people pleasing. So it's really a whole journey of finding a way to reunite with your inner self, is to build this rock centeredness within yourself, learning a way to ground. So that's exactly what we do here on my 90-day mindfulness challenge, where I have designed 3 different programs. The first one is like 2 hours a week where we practice together, which really focus just on mindfulness, meditation, transmission and journaling. The second part is where we focus once again still on the first one, mindfulness, meditation, transmission, journaling, but also we integrate a sense of Reiki healing, which is absolutely essential if you really want to take this work seriously. And then the third part is everything you get from package 1, package 2. But in package 3, besides Reiki, you also get shamanic healing sessions such as soul retrieval, which is really helping you to overcome soul fragmentation, and ancestral healing, because some patterns might actually come perhaps directly from your ancestral lineage, but perhaps it also might come from another kind of lineage. Okay, so this is something we can look at. Hope that was helpful. I hope to see you in one of my next videos. Take care for now. Bye bye.